All right, let's talk about some of the important things to help with checkpoint 1. We'll go through some examples and talk about some of the things from the first lesson. Okay, so these are the undefined terms that we kind of have in geometry. These are the building blocks of geometry. We have points, lines, and planes. Okay, points names location. It's a dot. A lot of you gave great examples of that. Okay, so it's just a dot. It's important also to know how it's labeled or how it's named. It's named with a capital block letter. Okay, so in this case, this is point P. Lines. Line is any straight path. It has no thickness. It goes on forever. We name lines, and it can be named in 3 different ways. You can name it using any 2 points that are on the line, so that's why they name this line X, Y. Or you can name it line YX. They can go in either direction. The third way to name a line is with a lowercase cursive letter. Okay, so notice that we could also call this line L. We know L is not a point because it's not a capital block letter. So that tells us we have a line there. The last figure we're going to talk about here is a plane. A plane is any flat surface like the ceiling or the floor. It does extend forever. But when we draw it, it kind of looks like. Notice when we draw the plane, it looks, we kind of draw a parallelogram like this. That represents a plane. Now, a plane can be named in several different ways also. You can name it using any 3 points. So notice you need 1 point to name one letter to name a point, 1 capital letter. You need 2 capital letters to name a line, or 1 lowercase script letter. And to name a plane, you need 3 points. Okay, that's what gives it its it's 2-dimensional. It's those 3 points stretch it out. Okay, so this could be named plane ABC, or you can name planes using a capital script letter. Now notice this plane, we could name it using any of the 3 points in any of those orders. So we could actually name this point plane BAC. We could name it plane CAB. We could name it plane ACB. Any combination of those 3 points will work. And if there were more points, any 3 of them would work. Okay, so that's how the basics. That's what we're starting with in geometry, is a point, a line, and a plane. Again, it's very important to remember a point is named with 1 capital block letter. A line is named with 2 capital block letters. And a plane is named with 3 capital block letters. All right, let's take a look at this question. This is a question you would have already had in your workbook problems. Up here, just a reminder, planes are named using 3 points on the plane, and those are uppercase block letters or 1 uppercase script letter. Okay, so notice in this drawing, there's only 1 that's a script letter with the curly cues on it, and it's this one. So this we could use to name this plane, right? So they asked you to name the 2 planes in the diagram. Now there's lots of possible answers because remember, this plane up here could be named using those 3 points in any order. So it could be ABC, CBA, CAB. Okay, but we need all 3. Okay, but they can be in any order. This plane down here has 4 points, so it could be named using any 3 of the 4 points. Or it also, notice, has that script letter, so it can be named with the script letter. So let's take a look. The correct answer to this problem was right here, plane R, because notice that was the script letter, so this name could be plane R for this yellow plane down here. And plane ABC, that's a correct name also for the pink plane, okay, because it used 3 of the points on the plane. So that was the correct answer. Let's take a look at these others and let's talk about what may have been wrong with them. Okay, the first here they said plane B. Well, where is B? Notice it's right here on this pink plane. That is not a script letter, it's just a point. You have to, if you're using points, you have to use 3 points to name a plane. Okay, the other over here, notice KLMN, they named all 4 points on the plane for that one. So those were both wrong. Let's take it the next one. Wants to name plane AB. Okay, well, AB, if you just name 2 points, what are you naming? You're not naming a plane, you're naming a line. Even though you put the word plane in front of it, you have to have 3 points. Okay, so that caused a problem there. What was wrong with this name, plane NRM, for the yellow one down here? The problem with that is that R is not a point. It's a script letter, so that tells us it's naming the plane itself, and it's not a location or a point on that plane. So you would have to use N, M, and L would work, or K, L, and N. You cannot use R as one of the points. And let's look at the last one. Let's see what was wrong with that. Okay, here's our last one, plane ABC. That's okay. Okay, so ABC, 3 letters on this pink plane, name it. That was okay. So what was wrong with the second part? Okay, so then they named the yellow plane, they named it plane L. Well, the problem with that, L is on this yellow plane, but it's just a point on the plane. It's not the name of the plane. With it's a point, you have to have 3 of them. If it's a name in script, you can use it. All right, let's do some practicing with this picture. All right, so notice we have a plane shape here. That indicates a plane. We have a name down here, a script letter. That could be the name of our plane. We have a line on the plane. We have 1, 2, 3 capital letter names. Those are points. So here's the first task. Name the plane in 2 different ways. Well, we could name it plane P. That's our script letter. I'm going to give more than 2 ways. We can also name it using any of the 3 points on the plane. There are only 3 points, but we can put them in any order. So we could name this plane ABC. We could name it plane BCA. We could name it plane CAB, and the list goes on. So there's more than 2 examples of how to name it. We can use the script letter, or we can use any of the 3 points in any order. Name a line in the figure where there's only one line drawn, and it's a line that goes through A and C. Okay, so that would be our line. We name lines using 2 points and the line symbol over the top. We could also, another correct answer for this would be line CA. With lines, you can put the letters in either order. And finally, name 4 points on the plane. Well, that would be hard to do because there's only 1, 2, 3 points. So we have A, we have B, we have C. Remember P up here, that is not a point. Okay, it is the name of the plane. We know that because it's a cursive or a script letter. So really this last one was kind of a trick question. We can't name 4 points on the plane because there are only 3 points. Okay, another thing we're covering in this unit are the tools we use in geometry. Here are 2 tools. What are their names? This one here is used to measure angles. This one here is used to make all of the constructions we're going to make. We're going to be constructing congruent segments, congruent angles. We're going to be cutting angles in half. Okay, this is called a protractor. And again, its purpose is to help us measure angles. This would be a 60 degree, and this is a 90 degree over here. And this is called a compass. It's not a directional compass, okay, not the kind that you use to find north. It is a tool that we use in geometry. Alright, so here's a few random questions. What are considered to be the building blocks of geometry? We covered them on that very first page. What was it? What do we build from? Those undefined terms. Points, lines, and planes, I hope was your response. Okay. Which of those is the most undefined term? What is the hardest one to describe? We can describe a line as going through any 2 points. We can describe a plane as going through any set of points. Point is probably the toughest to give a definition to because it's something that just kind of seems obvious to us. Well, it's a point. It's a location in space. It's a dot. Which of them is most like a computer desktop? So the top of your computer desk, would that be a point, line, or plane? It is a flat surface, so that would be most like a plane. And finally, which is the most like a speck of dust? Well, a speck of anything is most like a point. Okay, so you will be asked questions similar to these about points, lines, and planes, how to represent them, and yes, they are our building blocks of geometry.